God, we're doing a podcast.
What Is It Now, Karen? Episode 2.
Hello and welcome back to What Is It Now, Karen? It's episode 2. We're doing a sequel. I'm Joe.
And I'm Beth.
How, reflecting on last week, how do you think last week went? Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed recording it. I enjoyed the process of editing. Felt like a DJ with a big
good.
headphones in.
You look like a DJ tonight. You've got your 3-stripe Adidas top on and your new microphone. You're looking cool. But I thought we were quite... I know it's going to sound like we're big-headed, but I listened to it like 3 or 4 times. I quite enjoyed it. I thought we were quite funny.
Yeah. Well, we're top of the iTunes charts.
Oh yeah, of course. And number 2 in Spotify. You had to crack that nut.
Yep.
So I told my mum that we were doing a podcast. She said she really enjoyed it. She did say to me, "Oh, Joe, I feel very sorry for ladies called Karen. I don't think you should call it that."
Oh no. I have thought about that because I know people called Karen and they're not Karens.
I know, well, this is a thing, isn't it? Well, remember last week we sat and we spoke about, is it misogynistic? Is it like fair to call people Karen? But as you said numerous times, it's just a concept. Like,
yeah, it's a reaction to something. A typical, stereotypical, usually white suburban reaction to something.
Yeah. So it's just unfortunate that reaction has been given the name Karen. But I mean, that's like, I feel sorry for like old ladies called Fanny. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, unfortunate, but can't be helped.
Exactly. So, get over it.
What if your name is Karen and you are a Karen?
Well, then you've reached nirvana, haven't you? That's like a oneness in the world.
Yeah.
That you've somehow conquered. Bliss. But they're probably, like, Karens aren't really self-aware, so she actually wouldn't have the self-awareness to have,
of course,
have that bliss.
Mm-hmm.
But how have you been otherwise this week?
Fine. Bank holiday yesterday.
All right, okay, good for you.
I went bathroom shopping.
Oh, I was going to ask, how did the bathroom shopping go?
Well, that's all I really want to say about that.
Oh, did it not go well?
Yeah. You're drinking stout? Sorry for the podcast listener. Joseph's just drank a big...
It's actually just blackcurrant dilute juice, but it's in a big, like, stein.
A stein.
I'm having a stein of blackcurrant.
Anything to get you through this 1 hour podcast.
Well, it's a weeknight, so I can't turn to booze.
We should record this on the weekend.
We should do a drunk special. That'd be good.
Although I think if we thought we sounded self-righteous last week with a drinking, I think it would be unbearable.
Speaking of which, lockdown restrictions in Glasgow now, so can't visit or have visitors. So, but I can still go to the pub, which seems a bit counterintuitive.
Can you, because I'm technically North Lanarkshire, can you visit me?
No.
Okay.
So I was meant to have family around on Saturday for like a wee flat warming, but that's cancelled now. So.
Theoretically, could you go to theirs in North Lanarkshire?
No, you're not allowed to visit. If you're living in Glasgow, you can't visit people.
Ah, right, okay. I wasn't sure if it was just you can't go to a household in that area.
I think it's like if you live in Glasgow, you can't visit anybody or be visited by anybody.
I see. But you can go to the pub?
Yeah, so I can go to the pub, go to the gym, go to shops, but I can't visit people.
I've sort of read a few different reasonings. Is that because generally if you're visiting family, friends, you're more likely to hug and kiss them and less likely to be socially distant? Is that the party line?
Yeah,
I don't know. I read that explanation once, but I don't know if that is the official like scientific reason. I
mean, they probably take that into account. I don't know if that's like official reasoning behind it, but that's a good point actually. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, I'm probably less likely to like distance from my siblings than if I go to the pub and I'm sitting with strangers. Well, a couple of weeks maybe. Shall we move forth with our first Karen?
It's Karen of the Week time. So this was a comment under a BBC News article. So the headline for the article was "Period Poverty, Schools Not Aware They Can Claim Free Tampons." So yeah, the article was about schools apparently not being aware they can order free tampons and the uptake is really low. So one of the comments, again, we don't want to out anyone. This is a comment from Denise. Okay, so Denise thinks a child's personal hygiene is the parent's responsibility. Don't tell me they can't afford it. They don't need to if someone else is picking up the tab. What else will they duck out of?
Wow.
So Denise doesn't think that children deserve sanitary products. Discuss.
Well, I guess that is the underlying tone. Can you read it out to me again so I can hear it?
Yeah, I think a child's personal hygiene is the parent's responsibility. Don't tell me they can't afford it. They don't need to if someone else is picking up the tab. What else will they duck out of?
That's venomous, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was going to say she's answered her own question there, because like, it's the parent's responsibility. And then my first thought was, well, some households can't really afford to pay for sanitary products.
Yeah, so...
But then she's kind of said, don't tell me they can't afford it. But I think, is she alluding to the fact that universal credit should be enough to pay for tampons and pads?
I don't know if it's that kind of argument of if you're on benefits or you're on a low income, you don't deserve nice things.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
I'm not passing sanitary products as nice things, by the way.
Oh yeah, they're an essential, aren't they?
Yeah. But I'm just saying
Human
it's
right,
usually that sort of typical argument of when if people are on benefits or a low income, but you know they smoke or they drink or do anything.
I know what you mean. There's like the idea that if you don't have a lot of money, you should any kind of quality of life. You should spend your money on. I actually don't know what the average universal credit payment is, but you should spend it all on like flubber and yeast to make your own bread and just have bread and water every day. Don't dare buy nice clothes, don't buy nice food, don't buy anything, don't have a nice life because you're poor.
Not that I'm saying it's right that if there are any poor souls who, you know, their parents for whatever reason aren't buying them sanitary products because they're buying cigarettes or they're buying drugs or whatever they're doing. But does that mean that children should be sitting covered in their own blood all day during school?
Well, exactly. I find it quite interesting that, you know, Denise, who I assume is a woman or as somebody who menstruates, is being quite scathing about it. I thought, you know, she would have been all for it. Surely she can reflect on her childhood and think about, you know, the cost of sanitary products. And
I don't even think you need to be a woman to be able to sympathise. I mean, I've seen comments from men just saying, like, can you not just hold it in?
Oh my God.
I don't know if they've maybe missed a biology lesson or two, but I mean, unless obviously Denise has been in a privileged position, like many people, where they've been able to afford sanitary products and it's not been an issue. And I'm the same, so I can't imagine what it would be like to have to choose, you know, do I pay the electricity bill or do I buy sanitary pads?
I was thinking, I wasn't saying that you have to be a woman to kind of care about it, but I was just saying it's interesting that as an issue that would likely closely affect Denise, that she is riled up about it. I thought she would be fully on side with it.
There's this kind of wider issue though here, is that, you know, they're free in schools, but should they just be free for everyone?
Yeah.
Rather than just children in schools, the way that you can get condoms in a chemist for free.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it should be. I remember there was a hell of a lot of backlash on Twitter a couple of years ago when there was a group of female fans kind of started a group. I can't remember the name of the group now, but it was about getting free sanitary products into the...
On the Ball or Off the Ball?
On the Ball. Off the Ball is the radio show on BBC Scotland.
Okay.
So they were campaigning to get free sanitary products in football grounds. And you can imagine how that went down, given, you know, the average football da on Twitter just absolutely losing the plot. Like, well, I want a free pie and all this kind of stuff. It's like, well, that's not equivocal. You gotta do it.
To me, it should be in the same sort of list as, I don't know, where companies or football stadium managers, I don't know who would organise the, you know, when you order toilet roll and you order soap and you order paper towels, surely it should be on that same list. You know, you go to a public toilet, you're not expected to wipe your bum with your hand, you know, and find a nearby lake to wash your hands. You know, you're given sort of basic...
basic provisions.
To me, sort of, sanitary products, tampons, that should be a given.
Yeah. So what did she say? She said it's the parents' responsibility. Don't tell me they can't afford it. And then something about the tab. What? Somebody else going to be picking up the tab?
So she's basically saying, don't tell me they can't afford it. They don't need to if someone else is picking up the tab.
It sounds like she's having a conversation with herself. Then.
But that would be the same as you go to a public toilet and stealing all the toilet rolls. So that's what she's saying there. They don't need to if someone else is picking up the tab. So to me, that means she thinks that parents aren't going to buy their kids any sanitary products because they'll get them all at school for free. A common argument for like the period products being provided in public is that, people will steal them all, or people won't buy them for themselves and they'll just take them all at school. But you don't see people hoarding up toilet roll when they go to a public toilet or when they go to the toilet at school. And if they do, then God love them. If they need it, then...
I feel like this person needs to maybe take a step outside of themselves for just a minute and have a little bit of empathy.
Like she's mad.
She is mad. She's had it with people who menstruate. She is fed up. I wonder if she has ever been like caught short in her life. Like I'm sure she.
Yeah, because it's an issue of sort of period poverty, but like you said, just being caught short. Yeah, it's not just for people who can't afford the products. It's just genuinely people need them.
Well, yeah, exactly. I don't know. She just these people are quite frustrating. As I say, a little bit of empathy goes a long way, but then again, as is with everything on social media, I doubt she's like sat there and mulled over her statement as if it's like an answer to an exam question. It's the kind of thing that people just like type out and hit enter, and that's it. It's gone. She might not even have this opinion now. I mean, when was that? When did she post that? Recently?
I think it was today.
Today? All right. Okay. Well, I was going to say she might have changed her mind, but I don't think she would change her mind that quickly. Any more to add on that?
Well, she also comments here, what else will they duck out of?
Well, that's what I was saying. That's why I was saying she should just say that it's like she's got an issue with people who...
Yeah, because maybe that alluding to like free school dinners and the uniform allowance as well, I think. So
it sounds like either she's kind of resents the fact that people get a wee helping hand if they can't afford things.
Yeah.
There's also this myth that's like, they can afford that. This is the same when they talk about benefit fraud. Like such a small proportion of benefits are claimed fraudulently, such a tiny proportion, and yet that's what people like to bang on about. It's the same with stuff like this. Like realistically, who is stealing free sanitary products? Very, very few, if any, people.
I think if you are, then you probably need them. You're not going to be selling them on in the black market. You probably need them.
Yeah, you're probably in a desperate situation.
It really doesn't bother me. I don't find any issue with it.
Actually, I'll correct my language there, because I don't think you can steal something that's free.
No, I guess you could. What's the word I'm looking for?
Misuse.
Yeah, maybe misuse. Or what was the Dominic Cummings line? Not in the spirit of the law. It was in the spirit of the law, or something like that.
Oh, it was. Anyway, that's another rabbit hole that we could descend down tonight and not get back out of.
Next week, Karen's take on Dominic Cummings.
I had a bit of an inner Karen moment.
Do tell.
Must have been about 3 or 4 weeks ago now, actually.
Okay.
I've been bottling it up.
You can talk about it here. And judgment. Or maybe a little bit of judgment. Depends.
I knew exactly what I was doing when I did it, but I don't think it was unjustified. But on reflection, I was like, that's total Karen behaviour. So I was out for a drink in a pub.
Okay. Socially distanced, of course.
Socially distanced. We had the table for 2 hours, and we had a few pints, and then it was coming up to the time we had to give the table over, and we were just finishing off like the dregs of our pints, and the guy, it was one of these like kind of like painfully cool like trendy places, and the guy was like very, very much upwards inflection. How you guys doing tonight? We've got some great pints on offer. That kind of horrible, weird, like up and down, like.
Did he have a beard?
I don't think he did have a beard. He was like a youngish guy. So he comes over at like 9 o'clock and says, "Our next table's here, so you're going to have to clear off." And I was like, "Okay." And I was like, looked across the table, I was like, "He just told us to clear off? What? Was he trying to be funny?" Like, it's like, because he wasn't being like humorous. He was just like, "Our next table's here, you have to clear off." I was like, "What the?" So anyway, I was like, right, that was a bit weird. Like, he didn't even say like, "Oh, thanks for coming, guys," or like, "Oh, are you finished here?" or anything like that, right? It was just.
What are you expecting? Thank you for your custom, sir.
Have I got high standards? I don't know. I was just looking
I
for a
think
bit.
so.
But that's a weird.
Sort of fancy place.
No, it wasn't that fancy.
Mm.
I just thought it was a bit of a weird interaction. It was like clear off. I think you can afford to be a little bit funny like that if you've built like a rapport with somebody. But this guy had been over like once at the start and had been a bit annoying, a bit overbearing, and then came over at the end and told us to clear off. So anyway, I was walking up the street and I was like, do you know what? I'm going to do it. So I went on TripAdvisor.
Shocking.
I went on TripAdvisor and I left them 2 stars because I did like the beer. But I commented and I said, I had a really nice night. We knew we had the table for 2 hours, but was told to clear off by a member of staff, which I felt was quite rude.
Oh my God. You're such a Karen.
I don't know. I don't know if I signed it off with the classic line being "We won't be back."
We won't be back.
I can't remember if I actually wrote that or not. I need to look back and see if I did. I hope I didn't. That would be a step too far. I mean, I probably wouldn't go back, but not for that reason.
This is peak Karen.
It is peak Karen. Do you think that?
You don't know what that boy was going through.
I know, but well, maybe he was stressed. Maybe it was a busy Friday night.
Exactly.
Maybe. But I
say sorry.
I've worked.
Did you address it with him, or did that you just went to your TripAdvisor?
Oh yeah, my God, I did. I hid behind my keyboard.
Yeah, you're a keyboard Karen. Keyboard
Karen. So yeah, that was my wee Karen that popped out. She just popped out to say hello, and now she's gone back down below.
Gone back. Oh, that's good.
But I just thought, like, I've worked in hospitality.
Do you feel better about yourself?
All right. No, I don't. Okay, but I think at the time when I was a little bit tipsy and a little bit like pissed off,
I was
like irrationally pissed off. To be fair, I don't think I was justified in feeling pissed off, but I think I'd had like, I'd worked all week, I went out for a pint, and then he was like clear off. I was like, I would never speak to somebody like that.
Yeah. See, I do the same as you, except I just bottle it up or moan to people about it. But I would never take the action of leaving a review.
Have you ever left a review on anything?
Only good reviews.
Only good reviews. Well, that's the thing about reviews, isn't it? They're so divisive. People are only ever moved to leave a review if it's been spectacularly good or spectacularly bad. We used to get really funny. We had quite a few funny reviews at the coffee shop that I worked at once. A few of which were by like vengeful former staff. People do crazy stuff from behind a keyboard. Do you seriously have never felt compelled to do that?
Yeah, like if my food's burnt, if my food's cold, depending on the mood I'm feeling.
Has it ever been burnt and cold?
I don't know. I've eaten some pretty shoddy places. But sometimes if I think it's just too awkward, I'll just grin and bear it and just eat the cold burnt food.
That would really disappoint me if I'd. But
then I'll moan and I'll be raging inside, and I'll probably moan about it to everyone that I'm sitting with, and then I'll moan about it after, but I just won't ever do anything about it.
But when the waiter comes over and says, "Was everything okay for you?"
Delicious.
Compliments to the chef.
Compliments to the chef.
Great caramelization on that.
Yeah.
Are you inhibited? Do you think you need to be a bit more disinhibited when it comes to that?
Yeah, I think you need to stick up for yourself.
Yeah.
So maybe we could learn something from Karen's, Joseph.
Maybe I think there might be a balance to be struck.
Yeah, because like that, if you pay for something and it's not as advertised or not as you would expect it to be, then you don't need to grin and bear it. So was your Karen of the week yourself?
Oh no, that was just a little.
Yeah, just a little bonus content.
Bonus content, Easter egg. No, my Karen of the week actually is a man.
A gammon.
A gammon.
I learned more about gammons after last week. Yeah, my friend who listened to the podcast texted me and said, "Can't believe you don't know what a gammon is. My dad is one."
My condolences to your friend.
Yes. It's Karen of the week time.
So I'll give us some context.
Okay.
So the Soccer Saturday TV programme on Sky Sports sacked all its male pundits. So like Charlie Nicholas, thank God, by the way, because he's insufferable. Matt Letizia and other people. And they're...
Why, by the way?
I think they were... I don't know. I think they just wanted to change it up. But they like thanked them all. There wasn't a scandal. So they're all white, middle-aged men.
Usual.
And Twitter went a bit wild. People were like up in arms, like they were targeting specifically somebody called Micah Richards, who's an ex-footballer and is now a pundit, and he's black. And I think Ian Wright, who's also a former black former footballer, used to play for Arsenal. He posted a video saying, like, talking about the racism is way too high today. Like so basically everyone on Twitter was up in arms. Nobody had even been confirmed to replace these 3 white men, but they were like up in arms at the
Probably
prospect.
another 3 white men.
Well, they were up in arms at the prospect that, like, they were probably more up in arms about the fact that they'd been sacked because there was a rumour that apparently Micah Richards, this black former footballer, was maybe going to get a job.
Right.
And in addition to that, there was another name floating about, which was Alex Scott. And she is also black and a former footballer. Alex Scott, MBE. Not sure how I feel about that last bit, mind you. But anyway, whole nother podcast. She's played for Arsenal. She's a Champions League winner. She's won the Women's Premier League like 5 times. Like, pretty qualified to talk about football. I kind of chuckled at this tweet. So Micah Richards, the other footballer we're talking about, he sent out a tweet and he said, I saw I was trending today in relation to a brilliant and institutional Sky Sports TV show that I've never been on. The underlying insinuation of tweets immediately linking mine and Alex Scott's names makes for some uncomfortable truths. Peace and love, and then a peace sign emoji. So this guy has replied. His name's Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a footballer as his profile picture.
Nice.
And his reply to Micah Richards, he said, "You'd be ace on it. I think people have concerns with Alex Scott being there based on ticking boxes, brackets, being female/ethnic minority, close brackets, rather than based on merit. That's the general consensus from what I've read."
So
I was like,
a
okay,
black man isn't a tick box exercise, but a black woman is.
Woman is. So that's the point. I was like, oh, you've almost made a point there, but you've totally...
You're so close.
You're so close. You're so close, Aaron. You're so close. So you don't have an issue with this black guy being on it, but you do have an issue with this black woman being on it. And apparently...
Aaron is like a gammon steak.
Well, yeah, he's a gammon steak. He is concerned that Alex Scott is a tick box exercise based on the fact that she's a woman and that she's an ethnic minority. And he doesn't like that.
Well, you might
rather than based
here, because I don't know much about. I'm guessing that Alex Scott, she's a pretty well-established, successful footballer.
Yeah, so she used to play for Arsenal ladies. She won the Premier League 5 times, and she won the Champions League. I think she's played for England like 140 times as well. So I don't know what he's talking about when he's saying based on merit rather than based on merit. She's definitely got the merit to be there. I think his problem is with the fact that she's like a black woman and she's going to be on primetime TV. And let's not forget, actually, that nobody had even said that she was getting the job. This was just a rumour on Twitter gone wild. And he's absolutely lost the plot.
People get really, really funny about women footballers, don't they?
Oh, totally. Totally.
Female commentators and stuff.
Yeah, I find it weird.
Why do you think that is? Do you think it's an intimidation thing?
That they're intimidated by the fact a woman is involved?
Yeah. Because you even see that with people commenting and having an opinion on women actually just even attending football games, never mind actually playing football. People tend to be sort of more uncomfortable with women liking and playing football. Just from what I've observed over the years.
And I guess that links back in again to that period poverty thing we were talking about, where all these men suddenly felt very threatened by the prospect of women, that, coming to terms with the fact that women go to their
space.
But then part of me thinks, well, you've got a mother, you've probably got female family members, daughters, sisters, aunts. They'll
be at home cooking and cleaning and what else do ladies do? Ironing, folding.
Wow, what a stupid idiot.
Okay, well, he was halfway there.
Yeah, it's such a weird tweet. I don't really know what his logic is or what he's thinking about.
And he's not alone in his opinion, I wouldn't have thought.
You'd be ace on it. I think people have concerns with Alex Scott being there based on ticking boxes rather than based on merit. That's a general consensus from what I've read. I love when people say that as well. That's a general consensus from what I've read, which basically translates as, I haven't read anything.
Honestly, if you were watching a game and it was a woman commentating on it, would you have an opinion either way?
No, but I do remember having an opinion the first time I heard a woman commentate on Match of the Day.
Mm-hmm.
And I did have a reaction to it, and it was only just like surprise. I was like, oh, that's a woman commentating. Never
Yeah.
heard a woman commentate before, but not a problem, not an issue.
It's that kind of thing, you know, if you're a bad commentator, you're bad at your job, whether you're a man or a woman.
What exactly? So
So I mean, imagine there are bad female commentators.
there probably are, in the same way as there are many
There's
bad male
equally
ones.
really terrible male commentators.
Yeah, the number of kind of awful male commentators out there is staggering. I can think of a few on Scottish football that are just awful. I feel like you have to be like an exceptional commentator or pundit as a woman to like, or a presenter to get like a gig in football.
Yeah.
And you have to be like a below average as a man to get a gig.
Yeah.
That probably goes for a lot of stuff though across society.
Yeah. A lot of industries.
So yeah, good for Alex Scott if she does get the job. I think I think she mainly covers kind of English football and women's football as well. So I haven't seen too much of her because I only really watch Scottish football. But it's just wild how like people can. She's not even been shortlisted for the job. She's not like applied for the job, and people are frothing at the mouth on Twitter at the fact that black women might be presenting coverage of football. It's like she's far more qualified than any of you to do it. Why does it matter? Why does it matter though? That's what I would like to do.
For the average person though, it's almost like it's the theory of otherness where the sort of white straight man is the norm, and then anything out with that is othered and is unusual. So to be a woman and then to be black, it's maybe people are like, if she's a woman and she was white, or if like that, she's a black man. But to be a black woman, it's going to have that response in people because it's just not that straight, white, middle-aged man that we're all used to seeing.
Male, pale and stale.
That's it.
And I will be glad to see the back of Charlie Nicholas. I think he's terrible. Yeah. I will make an exception and name him and pick him out and say I think he's doesn't know what he's talking about. So anything is an improvement on him.
So it was Lorraine Kelly last week and Charlie Nicholas this week?
Yeah.
No one is safe.
No one is safe. Coming after them one by one. But my mum was like to me, you need to be careful what you say on that. I was like, are you talking about the Lorraine Kelly thing? She was like, yeah. I don't think Lorraine Kelly's going to come across this podcast and sue me.
You never know.
Stranger things have happened again. I wonder if it would be Lorraine Kelly or Lorraine Kelly as
Lorraine Kelly.
Would it be her or her persona?
Or both.
Oh God, could you imagine both at the same time?
If they're two separate entities, they could both come after you.
One for libel, one for slander.
That's it.
Have you ever felt kind of made to feel out of place at football because you're a woman?
No, I wouldn't say I'm massively into football. I come from a kind of football family, I guess, so kind of been surrounded by football. My boyfriend's a big football fan, but I'm not personally involved in it to sort of feel left out or mistreated by football or football fans. What about as a gay person who likes football?
I do get people being like, "Oh, do you like football?" I'm like, yeah.
That's it. I guess that would be the kind of similar to the response that women get. They're maybe just surprised.
Or like people being like, people who have known me for a long time still being like, oh, I still find it really weird that you're into football. And I'm like, why? But I guess that just goes to show that like you do have this image of it being like white, male, heterosexual. A lot of go-to insults in the stands at a football game are based around masculinity and sexuality. Yeah. A lot of them are like, being called like or a fairy or
should we say that?
Bleep it out. they'll get the gist.
The P word?
The P word.
Rhymes with woof.
Being called a woofter.
A woofter, yeah.
Or, stuff like that. Or like not being, if somebody shirks out from a challenge or if somebody goes down too easily or if...
Yeah. Well, there's no openly gay footballers, is there?
No, there was...
An ex-footballer, maybe?
Yeah, a couple of retired footballers, one of whom's German.
So roughly how many footballers are there in the UK that play professionally.
Well, tens of thousands. So, like, statistically, some of them will be.
Statistically, some of them will be gay. Did you not see who was the team that brought out? I don't think it was an official rainbow strip. Did you see that? Bristol City.
Oh, no, yeah. So that kit, that's like I don't think it is meant to be.
Yeah, it's not an official LGBT. I think it is just like a colourful football top.
Yeah. Partick Thistle had an away kit that had the LGBT rainbow on like the sides. Oh my god, actually, and the second result is from the Scottish Sun, and it's Frank McAvenny, ex-Celtic footballer, and he's written an article about Partick Thistle strip, and it says Partick Thistle's new LGBT pride strip could be a costly own goal.
I like Frank McAvenny.
Oh no, he's enough. If a Partick Thistle fan refuses to buy his child a strip which pays tribute to gay pride because he's worried his child will get slagged, does that make him a homophobe? No, it makes him a considerate dad who is putting his child's feelings before any political statement. Well, Frank, nobody's calling him a homophobe.
He has a point. If Partick Thistle are just slapping on the LGBT flag onto their strip, I would want to know what are you putting your hand in your pocket to support the LGBT community? What are you supporting any initiatives? Are you what are you doing to stop homophobia within football? Right, don't just slap a rainbow flag on your strip.
No, I think they were.
I really don't know if they are. By the way, they might be.
No, I think they were.
I think a lot of brands sort of do that. They'll put the LGBT flag on things. It is a political statement because they're not doing anything behind the scenes to actually support the LGBTQ plus community.
But these people are always up in arms about it, like bloody Frank McAvenny saying, I don't think this is the right platform, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, I'm sorry, Frank, but you're going to have to accept the fact that chunk of society is gay. Some of them go to the football. Some of them support Partick Thistle. And God forbid they should see a bit of representation.
Yeah.
And I think that it feeds into, it's a worry about, it's like an acknowledgement that the stigma is there but not doing anything to address it. So acknowledging the fact that a dad might not buy that rainbow strip for his son because he might get called gay at school. So the dad acknowledges that there is a stigma.
That also being called gay, it shouldn't be an insult.
Well, I wonder if schools have moved past that now, because that was quite a common insult.
So. Like I would have said, I know for a fact that I said it.
Oh my god, that's so gay.
So gay.
Anyway, Alex Scott for Soccer Saturday. She's got my vote.
I think you should go for it now that you're a broadcaster.
I'm a broadcaster.
Yeah, we've got the mics.
I know I was going to say that. I could just sit here in my living room with my mic. They could beam me in.
And then that would be another tick box exercise.
Oh my god, yeah, it would. Is it time to vote now for Karen of the Week? I feel like there wasn't a whole lot to say about mine. I just thought it was quite funny that he was so near yet so far to being like...
Yeah, like I said, a gammon steak.
A gammon steak. He was semi-supportive, but I think that made it funnier.
Yeah. But I guess maybe just like that, like we said last week, the kind of ignorance of, he's sort of like, oh, I don't mind if you're black, but as long as you're not black and a woman, that's just... so progress, but we're not there yet.
Christ, can you believe that? It's 2020 and we're not there yet.
2020's
been a write-off.
It has. We're in September.
I know, can you believe that's 1st of September today? That's just completely ridiculous to me. God, 2020 has been so bad that we've turned to podcasting.
Do you know who I think should get Karen of the Week?
Who, me?
You.
I think that was definitely the most Karen-like behaviour in terms of it was quintessential, it was classic, it was very on brand.
Do you know what? But you weren't, because you're self-aware though, which is...
Oh, right, okay. That disqualifies me, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Why should your Karen win Karen of the Week this week?
Denise?
Mm-hmm.
Am I fighting Denise's corner here for Karen of the Week?
Yep. Yeah, why should she win it?
Okay, it's just the quintessential Karen, isn't it? Angry at poor people.
I like that she came at it with like a kind of 3-pronged approach. She said, is it not the parents' responsibility? And then she said, don't tell them they can't afford it. She kind of headed off her critics at the pass. And then she said, oh, but they probably can because somebody else is paying for it. So like, I really liked that.
And what else will they duck out of?
What else to duck out of? So actually it was 4. It was 4
Would
different
make you think
points.
there was a secret, maybe she's got something else in the pipeline, another comment for another day, something else brewing Something else
Should-
festering.
should-
Preschool dinners maybe for next week.
Okay, I think I will vote for I'll vote for Denise this week.
Denise wants children to sit in their own period blood all day.
Put it in lining.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too. I assume you're going to vote for your own.
Well, no, I voted for you, but not your cat. I voted for you.
All right, but we said that I was disqualified because I was self-aware, so you can't vote for me. We're exempt.
Give it to Denise then.
Give it to Denise. That's 2 in a row you've won now. Two out of 2.
You'll need to up your game for next week. I know this is quite bad. We shouldn't read the Sun or the Daily Mail, but you find them in the comment section very easily.
I just don't like to give them the clicks.
I know, but
every click
you're going to get your one little click's not going to make a difference.
But if everybody said that, then
I know that's the wrong attitude. I'll cut this bit out. We're supposed to be #woke.
I hate that word as well. Woke.
I think you're very woke.
Piers Morgan talks about it as well. It's not like being disparaging.
But Piers Morgan says it in inverted commas, like.
But it's become like a stick to beat people with.
I know what you mean.
Because all of a sudden, if you come across these empathetic people who are sensible, not unlike us, Bethany, very empathetic.
Well, I don't know what to say.
Then you can really dismiss them and belittle them if you just call them just stupid.
Usually snowflakes, woke snowflakes.
But what that really translates as socially aware, sensitive, and empathetic, which is pretty good qualities.
Yeah.
Going back to Piers Morgan though, I remember he was on I can't remember what game show it was, but they called him Piss Morgan for the full programme, and he was
Britain's Got Talent.
He's not on Britain's Got Talent.
He was years ago with Amanda Holden. He was on with Susan Boyle, remember?
Jesus. No, it was on it was like a panel show. It was like Mock the Week or something like that, and they called him Piss Morgan to his face all night.
I feel like we could do a whole podcast on Piers Morgan.
Piss Morgan.
Piss Morgan. Is that a swear word? Are we going to get penalised for saying piss?
Doesn't matter. I always said the F word earlier.
I'm going to bleep that out. So if you swear, then less people can listen to your podcast.
Oh, right, okay.
We need all the listeners we can get.
I want to say You're going to bleep all these anyway.
But it takes me ages.
We'll never say the
See you next Tuesday.
Yeah, the big C. That's probably a step.
I'm not really more offended by that than other swear words.
I guess I remember having this discussion with somebody about it, and they kind of likened it to being like a bit of word reclamation by women.
I think it's like anything or any swear word. It's all the context, isn't it?
That's true.
All right, you wee C word. See you wee C word. You wee dirty C word.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's a term of endearment in Glasgow anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe not other areas. Another episode bites the dust.
Well, I don't think you meant to say bites the dust. That's a bad thing. That means it's dead. Say another episode of What Is It Now, Karen, draws to a close.
If you like this podcast, like and subscribe.
And you can follow our social media channels. The Instagram.
What Is It Now, Karen?
And the Twitter.
What Is It, Karen? Old school, you can email us on whatisitnowkaren@gmail.com. If, like Joseph, maybe you want to expose you or someone you know as a Karen, you can get in touch anonymously. If you have left a TripAdvisor review at a restaurant complaining and you feel bad about it, let us know. See you next week.
Bye. Oh God, we're doing a podcast.